Our next session is the wonderful world of Jisc. Actually, it's not titled that. It's titled Jisc Services Now and in the Future. Some of us will know more about Jisc than others, but actually this is an opportunity for everyone to sort of get up to speed with exactly what it is that Jisc can do for us. So I'll invite Keith Jenkins and Hazel Waller onto the stage to talk you through that.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
That's the right title. Sorry about that. So yes, thank you. I'm here to talk about Jisc services now and in the future. My name's Hazel Waller, and this is my colleague Keith Jenkins, and we're both account managers for Jisc. And we're here to tell you more about the wealth of services available to Jisc members. I recently worked with an IT director who told me that he thought Jisc contained many hidden gems. So I thought it might be a good idea for Keith and I to tell you about some of these hidden gems, exactly what Jisc members can access and what you'll be able to access in the future. Just before I do that, I'll briefly outline Jisc's rationale and ethos. So who are we? So I'm hoping that some of you know at least who we are, but just in case you didn't, Jisc is the UK higher, further education and skills sectors organisation for digital services and solutions. We are a not-for-profit organisation, but we are not a vendor. We work with vendors and publishers on your behalf. Every pound is used for the sector's benefit. We are objective, but we're not biased. We put the sector's interests, their individual and collective needs above all else. Jisc is, in our own words, of the sectors, by the sectors, for the sectors. We have a vision here at Jisc. We want the UK to be the most digitally advanced higher and further education and research nation in the world. And to achieve this, we will continue to power UK higher education and further education, teaching, learning and research, and inspire its digital transformation. Our current strategy involves continuing to develop the Janet network. And again, if you didn't know too much about Janet, the network is the foremost national research and education network in the world. We will continue to focus on our products and services, so we make the most difference to learners, teachers and researchers. We aim to make Jisc membership meaningful. A key part of this is via the account manager function. Now we'll refer to this and talk about this later on. And of course, as you would expect, we will continue to build a strong financially sustainable position and operate to high standards of efficiency and effectiveness. At Jisc, we champion digital technologies for UK education and research and group our services into three main areas. We operate shared digital infrastructure and services. We negotiate sector-wide deals with IT vendors and commercial publishers. And we provide trusted advice and practical assistance for our members. Our research and development work is integrated across these three areas. We work closely with members across sectors to deliver collective digital advantage alongside financial savings and efficiencies. We offer opportunities to be part of an innovation community which contributes to developing our products and services so that they meet the needs of the sector. We work with the community in pilot and special interest groups to make sure we can understand what the pressing issues or challenges are so that we can advocate on behalf of the sector to government and policymakers.
Okay, I just want to focus on the shared digital infrastructure and services that we offer at Jisc. Wrong way. You're probably very familiar with the Janet network. As Hazel said, it is the premier NREN in the world, the National Research and Education Network. You've probably used EduRoam in the past when you're outside your institution, and that allows you access to the internet securely and seamlessly. But there are other things that we do. We've got two shared data centres, one in Leeds, one in Slough. We manage the .ac domain on behalf of you guys for the sector. And we also have the UK Access Management Federation. And for those who are not familiar with that, that is effectively a service that provides a single solution to access online resources, helping identity providers, service providers, and ultimately you guys as end users and students. So we've got lots of things that we're doing now, but actually some of the more exciting things are what we're doing in the future. In a moment, I'm going to talk about the National Bibliographic Knowledge Base, fortunately shortened to MBK, and I'm also going to talk about the Research Data Shared Service. But just before I do that, I just want to come back to Janet and tell you some things that you may not know about Janet. So it's highly reliable, it's a world-class network. It's actually been built to facilitate national and international communication. And what you might not know is it does actually service over 18 million users. So it stretches from Belfast down to East Anglia and from Cornwall up to Scotland. It carries over 1.5 petabytes of information. Now to put that into pictures, that's about 2 million CD-ROMs. So if you can picture 2 million CD-ROMs sitting on this stage here, then that covers that. 8.5 kilometres of optical fibre. So that'll get you from here to Los Angeles. So if you can picture taking a flight out to California. And over 700 Jisc members are connected to more than 30,000 kilometres of access circuits. So we've just been looking at things like Malaysia, so that will get you to Malaysia and back again. So that's a hell of a distance travelled. It's not just a network. It's got over 500 peer-ins to over 300 organisations. For those of you at the front, apologies for the people at the back there, you might recognise a couple of these. We've got Netflix up there, obviously for student experience. We've got some of the big providers such as Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and some of you that are more familiar with some of the telecom providers and telephony, we've got direct peer into Gamma, Redstone, and some of the others down there. I should also add that on top of all of this, we are looking to make use of the express route into the Microsoft Cloud Azure stack. And I know some of the people in the room today have already got this set up, been working very closely with Janet and the folks in Janet and Jisc. I know at Lincoln we're all ready to go, which is great. So if you want to find out more about that, I'll obviously speak to Drew. So there's a lot going on there. We also take security very, very seriously. Just up the road at the Mercure Hotel, there's the Jisc Security Conference happening right now, and there's about 200 members there. Some of you may have colleagues from your IT services up there at the moment. So we, as you quite imagine, that we take it very, very seriously, and the Janet network is very, very secure. And I'm just going to talk you through this, what looks like the Janet solar system. So we have a cybersecurity incident response team. They're called CSIRT, and their job is purely to monitor and resolve any security incidents that happen on the network. They work very closely with the community and your colleagues in IT services to detect, report and investigate any incidents that pose a threat to your information systems. And they also are required to investigate other forms of network abuse, such as spam and copyright infringement, which some of you may have encountered in the past. I should also add that information security threats are not just limited to a particular network or national boundaries. So CSIRT have to work with some of the partners around the outside here and international partners to manage and resolve incidents. So they're pretty well connected folks if you look at the sorts of people on the outside. We've also got the security in black and white lists, and essentially what that does is we identify sources of email abuse, and that's the black side, and then on the good side we know the good email servers. So with a Janet connection you can gain access and benefit from a number of these lists. The mailer shield, by the way, if you're wondering what that's all about, that is effectively a front end to your organisation's mail server, so it's not exposed to direct connections from compromised third-party mail servers. Now occasionally you'll get those phishing emails that may come through, and we have frameworks to provide services. So over here we've got the simulated phishing and associated training service. That's provided by one of our framework providers, Kipu Networks, and we have other services that we'll touch on later. Now the biggie at the moment and what's taking up a lot of time at the security conference is the DDoS, and that's distributed denial of service, for those who are not familiar. And anyone who's seen the news recently will know that institutions, almost half of all the UK HEI and almost a quarter of all FE institutions are being attacked on a regular basis. In fact, at the conference at the Road we were speaking about one institution that was attacked this morning, not a million miles from here, 8 hours yesterday and several hours today. And so we have a mitigation service that takes that data away and scrubs it, cleans it, and then allows you to continue with what you're doing. So the security analysts within Jisc work really hard to monitor the patterns of traffic, and if they notice that a Janet connected institution has experienced an attack, usually because large volumes of traffic at one go trying to flood a network, then they'll step in and prevent that for you. So a lot of good work done by a lot of good colleagues within Jisc. Now, I did say I'd talk about NBK, National Bibliographic Knowledge Base. Really exciting project that's coming up. Some of you may have heard about it. By harnessing the latest digital technology and practices, we're designing and building a national bibliographic knowledge base for the future. And what we mean by that is NBK will aggregate and interoperate with a collection of data sources that will describe where all the books are kept, in what format, under what condition they can be used and accessed. And NBK will ensure that libraries can provide researchers and learners with sustainable and convenient access to digital books and resources, and then allow those libraries to make robust data-driven decisions about the management of their digital and print book collections based on factors such as historical usage, commonness, rarity, across all the libraries right across the UK. So it's a really, really exciting project. I'm bringing this slide up here just to give you an idea of the ecosystem. And Jisc's ambition here is to make a positive contribution to the overall quality of the data that circulates around this ecosystem. It is a genuine knowledge base, combining data from various sources, as you will see on the left-hand side and from the top and from the bottom. But it's not just a database. It will also enable contributed library data to flow into other systems and appear in global search engines. And what we're trying to achieve here really, it could be described as the new Janet, because it's an exciting collaborative partnership that is an important part of building a national digital library. So we think this will transform how libraries will manage their collections, provide access to resources and collaborate with others and work towards a true vision for a national digital library. I'm going to give you a glimpse of how this is going to work for those who are interested. We work very closely, we partner with OCLC, and for those who are not familiar with OCLC, they're the Online Computer Library Centre, American non-profit cooperative organisation, and their ethos is in line with Jisc's. They're dedicated to the public purposes of furthering access to the world's information and reducing information costs. So Jisc provide the interface, OCLC are providing the infrastructure. Essentially, OCLC have a robust metadata hub, and through that they have a publishing platform. Jisc, on the other side, our role is engaging with the community, engaging with you guys, engaging with academics, specialist libraries, and identifying data sources and incorporating them into MBK. So hopefully that data will go into MBK. It's then synchronized through WorldCat, and that gives it visibility on the World Wide Web. And then obviously through doing that, the benefits come full circle back to the academics, researchers and learners. So a very, very exciting project, and certainly one that you'll be hearing a lot more of. I've brought this slide up just to show the extent of this project, because it's not just a service, it is an engagement program all the way from data supply and interoperability. And actually, as a result of this, we will be decommissioning some Jisc services because it will be superseded by the activities in here. So that's where we're at. These are the guys that are working with us so far. So on the left-hand side, we have a bunch of libraries who currently, because we're in the alpha phase, have given us some trial data sets, and we've put them into the trial systems. Over the next year or so, we'll have more than 100 libraries doing the same, and then the intention is to go live in January 2019. And then the overall aim is to have about 225 libraries feeding into MBK by 2020. So watch this space. And you might want, if you not recognise your institution, you might want to go back and ask your librarian, are we doing this? Okay. National Research Data Shared Service, another exciting project that's coming up. One that we're in pilot phase at the moment. And essentially, this is a service that will allow all the researchers and institutions to meet their policy requirements for the deposit and curation of research data. And we're hoping through doing this that researchers will easily be able to deposit data for publication, discovery, safe storage, and long-term archiving and preservation. I read something the other day, speaking to the guys who are working very closely on this project, that only 10% of the research data from the 1990s is available now. It's just not available. And obviously that's something that our funders are looking to address, so that the research material is sustainable and access to it can be reused time and time again. So in order to try and achieve this, we're looking to do two things. One, we're looking to produce a new system that can be offered as a managed service, relieving the burden from institutional IT and procurement staff. And two, provide some services and consultancy around that to help institutions implement their RDM requirements. Apologies for the folks at the back there, but there's really three areas here. We're building a framework of suppliers to provide services. In the middle to the left, we've got a data repository, we've got data preservation platforms and data reporting platforms. At the top, you will see some of the institutions that we're working with as pilots, some very small colleges that focus on one particular area of research, all the way up to some bigger institutions. I work closely with the University of Cambridge, and as you can imagine, as a Russell Group highly intensive research organisation, they're looking at probably using the entire solution. Some of the smaller colleges may only be looking at using one part of the solution. Some institutions are looking, they already got parts of this jigsaw, but they're looking for this to potentially replace what they're doing further down the line. So the main drivers behind this, as I said, is funder compliance, policy compliance. It's also trying to enable good practice in research data management, and pooling resources ultimately to try and achieve some financial and resource efficiencies. So we're hoping that this will be in beta for other institutions to use at the start of 2018, and then by next summer, all going well, this will be available as a service.
So just moving on to this second area. So within our sector-wide deals, you as members already have access to our security frameworks, and this includes web filtering framework, the vulnerability assessment service, and also the simulated phishing service that Keith's already mentioned. We do have other frameworks available, such as the routers and switches frameworks, data archiving, board and committee papers, and also telecommunications framework. We offer impartial advice and guidance around telephony purchasing, and we still continue to offer cost savings via the Janet Tech service for members. Additionally, Jisc negotiates with Microsoft, Google and Amazon Web Services, amongst others, in order to save you time negotiating your own agreements. And hot off the press, Jisc is making the JON Infrastructure as a Service framework available to our community. This is an EU compliant framework which will enable research and education institutes to adopt and use a portfolio of infrastructure as a service cloud solutions in an easy, safe, predictable and controlled way. Products and services under the infrastructure as a service framework include compute, storage, network and relevant professional services to help with cloud migration, for example. 8 suppliers are eligible to provide services in the UK catering for 3 types of services. That's Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure and original infrastructure as a service provider. And then you can ask your account manager for further information about that. Jisc collections. So I'm sure some of you are aware of Jisc collections and the negotiations that Jisc undertakes on the sector's behalf. These savings and efficiencies can run into hundreds and thousands of pounds for universities. Jisc is uniquely placed to negotiate, procure and license digital content to save librarians time and money. We work hard to provide high quality e-resource collections selected for academic research, teaching and learning. So here's a few handy statistics about our Jisc collections service. We negotiate on behalf of over 160 higher education and research institutions, and we manage over 9,000 active subscriptions. Jisc works on over 250 licenses, covering over 400 subscription agreements. Our negotiations cover expenditure of £108 billion. This is 45% of total sector spend on e-content and amounts to savings of approximately £105 million for the sectors. So there's a whole range of benefits from access to Jisc collections. So we can help support transition to open access through negotiated offsetting arrangements for APCs. Just to mention, there's a whole range of services to support open access available on our website, and again you can talk to your account manager for more information. We work closely to represent the sectors to identify valuable new content. All members have access to their own portal to manage their Jisc collections, and we also provide ease of use services such as JASP and Knowledge Base Plus. Jisc provides a dedicated help desk team to support with subscriptions and purchasing. And we research innovative resources, licensing models and evaluation tools and share knowledge about e-resource acquisition and research. So moving on, within the realms of expert and trusted advice and practical assistance, we offer a variety of first-class services available to members to improve efficiencies and add value to an organisation. Our financial X-ray service helps you gain a better understanding of your IT costs. We can provide benchmarking and help to understand and easily compare overall costs. The financial X-ray is a useful tool to build a business case for changes in IT infrastructure and create an ongoing mechanism for dialogue between finance and IT departments. It can also provide a means of highlighting the comparative cost of shared and commercial third-party services. In the future, you'll see new X-ray services, including a library X-ray service, a security X-ray service, and also research. These will take on the same approach as the financial X-ray, but they'll utilise different taxonomies. I will talk more in depth about the consultancy and training services, but before I do, I'd like to mention our work in the area of transnational education too. Our future plans for development within transnational education seek to address the requirements for cost-effective, appropriate and reliable connectivity services overseas. We have already enhanced our portfolio to enable overseas campuses to be connected to home institutions in the UK. This integrates our UK-based operations, including the Janet network, and also the range of Jisc services. We've undertaken pilot projects in Malaysia, developing relations with Telecom Malaysia, and also China, establishing a strategic alliance with Cernet. Also, there are further plans for Jisc to improve access to digital resource licenses across international campuses and partnerships, and there is pilot work that's currently ongoing in this area. So practical support and consultancy is a service that we provide to the sectors. In 2016, we provided more than 120 universities and colleges with practical support, a much valued benefit of Jisc membership. Their feedback informed us that they wanted access to enhanced levels of support and assistance. The consultancy service is delivered by a team of highly experienced subject specialists. And our subject specialists certainly know their stuff. They receive really great feedback from our members who they work with, and they're very, very proud of their 100% satisfaction rating. Jisc offers practical support and advice that is inclusive to our membership offer. This is available in a range of areas here, from implementing technology-enhanced assessment to preparation for GDPR. I've worked with a further education college recently through area review and merger transition. Our team supported them with an IT infrastructure review, a skills review, and also a comparative analysis to enable senior managers to make crucial decisions. They also received support in bringing together a new digital strategy for the merged organisation. In addition to the practical support, we offer a competitively priced consultancy service tailored for the education and research sectors. We offer bespoke solutions to the issues you face, and we can provide a whole range of expertise to help support you. For example, we are soon to offer a Cyber Essentials consultancy service, helping you prepare for Cyber Essentials accreditation. I'm sure you're aware that you'll need a Cyber Essentials certificate to bid for any public funds. We also offer training, and this training is developed by experts in our training team. This high-quality delivery is designed to help you optimise your in-house expertise and make the most of our services and solutions. We delivered to over 2,000 delegates last year, which received a 98% overall satisfaction rating. Our training is delivered both face-to-face and online using innovative techniques. And for example, I speak to many members who have undertaken our Home Office accredited workshop to raise awareness of PREVENT, and I always hear really high praise for this training. Here are some of the courses that you can access through our training division. The full list of courses is available via our website, and this is regularly updated. So visit the events section and look in the training area. As you can see, there are technical courses such as ISO 27001, there are library courses, and of course GDPR. Alongside the GDPR training, we offer a whole range of resources to support you ready for May 2018. And these are all pulled together on one handy webpage. And I'm sure Andrew Cormack from Jisc will be able to tell you more about GDPR tomorrow morning as he delivers. And of course, you can ask your account manager for further information.
Okay, towards the start, Hazel talked about the R&D projects that underpin what we do, that actually cover all of those three areas, the research, the shared digital infrastructure, sector-wide deals, and the advice and practical assistance. And the work that our guys do in the digital futures around R&D They aim to identify emerging technologies and develop them around your needs. And they do this through what we call the caterpillar. You probably can see why they call it a caterpillar. And the whole approach here is trying to filter the most promising ideas and then grow them to a full service as we come up to the big red blob there. And if necessary, decommission any of those services that are no longer relevant. And to support those activities, we've got two main processes. One is co-design, where we work very closely with our members, stakeholders in the community, and we set up pilots and special interest groups to develop those products and services with the intention that their feedback allows to decide which ideas to pursue. And then the other, we have a whole product management process which decide which ideas should then be graduated to become full Jisc services. So the goal for our research and development team is really simple. It's to develop new national shared technology services using co-design. And hopefully, working more closely with you, we're better placed to understand what the pressing issues and challenges are. And then what we can do is advocate on your behalf to the government and the policy makers to try and drive these things through. Now, there are three big areas of focus for our R&D team. We call this the three trees. You can probably see why. And I've already spoken about the work around the research data shared service, but we are doing a hell of a lot of work now to build digital capability or support your institutions building digital capability and making the most out of learner analytics. So I'll just start with, we'll go from left to right, and we'll start with digital capability. And for us, the reason we're working with universities and colleges and staff in those institutions is really to make them better equipped for what is, as we all know, a changing digital environment. And we believe that effective and appropriate use of technology by university and college staff is absolutely vital in providing an enhanced student experience and actually realising the good return on the investment that you guys are making in the digital environment. So it's really, really key. So what are we doing? Again, two clear areas. We're providing clear guidance on the digital skills and capabilities that are required for a number of staff roles. And then we're equipping the leaders and staff with the necessary tools and resources that you need to improve your digital capability, either at a local level or institutional level. So on the left here, and some of you may have seen this in the past, we have what we call our digital capability framework, which essentially is 6 elements, which helps describe the types of skills needed by staff from a wide range of academic, administrative and professional roles to thrive in a digital environment. Okay, so in the centre here we've got the ICT proficiency, where that's more push-button stuff, but if we look in the wider circle around digital identity and well-being, that includes stuff like managing your profile online. And what are you doing when you make those actions and decisions to do things online? Are you aware of the consequences of those decisions? So, using that framework as a basis, we've developed a discovery tool, which is designed to support individuals and managers in a range of roles, to help them identify and reflect on their current digital capability, and then make the necessary plans to improve on the capability using a customised play list of resources. So where are we at with this? We've already completed a pilot with a number of universities and colleges, and we've taken the feedback from that pilot, and we have another version of the discovery tool which is ready to use from this December. Alongside that, and as part of our wider approach to support the building of digital capability in the sector, we've got a 4-day digital leaders programme, and this is aimed at anyone occupying or even aspiring to occupy decision-making, leadership or management positions within HEFE, regardless of your discipline, function or department that you're in. And this has been specifically designed to help those people that attend become digitally informed and empower leader, and hopefully lead them to better understand what work they need to do, and how we can help them and their organisation respond more effectively to technological driven change. So we're hoping to equip them with the tools, the knowledge and the skills to become a more effective digital leader. We're hoping that they then can explore how they can engage more effectively with the digital technology at their disposal, both as strategy and operational. And we're hoping that it allows them to discover and reflect how digital technology is changing the way their organisation operates. And of course, this creates new leadership challenges and strategic opportunities. And finally, we're hoping this will learn to lead, manage and influence digital-driven change across the organisation's departments, services and teams. So at the moment, this course is being run right now in Belfast, actually from tomorrow. And the next opportunity, and I believe there are still some places available if you guys are keen to be involved in this, just come and speak to myself and Hazel for the next event in the new year in the University of Leicester in College Court. Okay, the students. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the students, and this is really, really important. We've developed a digital student experience tracker tool that enables your organisations to explore how students use and feel about the digital tools and the environment and support that you're providing them. Early this year was the first time we ran this. We had 22,000 students from 74 organisations. About 5,000 of those students were actually from international universities, and this is the first time that digital experience from a student's perspective has been looked at in this detail and at this scale. And you can go online, you can search, and you can see the reports from this. I haven't got the time to go through it all today, but the information gathered from these reports give you valuable insight into how students are experiencing digital enhanced learning, and provides an opportunity for you guys to engage with students either in the design of the curriculum, but also the whole digital environment around them. So I would welcome you guys getting involved in the 28 version of this tracker. There's still some time to sign up. The sign up doesn't close till the end of November. And again, if you want to know more, come see Hazel and I later at the conference. Okay, learner analytics. And I was aware that there was an event yesterday that some of you may have attended on learner analytics. So, as you may be familiar, learner analytics is about using the increasing potential of data insight to improve students' learning. And the effective use of learner analytics is actually identified as a priority from our members, from you guys, way back in 24 as part of the co-design process back then. And as a result, ever since, we've been working in collaboration to build a national learner analytics service. Indeed, the first country in the world to do so. And to help achieve this, we've worked very closely with a number of partners, including the Association for Learning Technology, ALT, NUS, SCONL, and actually UCISA. And with considerable input from the NUS, our starting point was to write a code of practice to help institutions on the legal and ethical issues that may relate to analytics, because there is some questions that will be asked by students about why are you really doing this. And we've decided that we're going to come up with again, two things. A basic learner analytics solution. So this will include everything that you need to track student learning activity to improve retention and attainment. And that's the key part there, the retention and the attainment. And it will also include an app for the students to allow them to maximise their learning potential. And it's in the hands of them so they can track their own learning activity. And I'll touch on that in a moment. And aside that, we've got some supporting resources to help you take up these solutions and navigate the challenges such as the legal and ethical issues. So as I mentioned, the focus here, as I said, is on increasing retention and driving better student outcomes. So in order to do that, we need to develop predictive models to identify those students at risk and collate rich data on student activity. Again, apologies for the people at the back, but I think these slides will be made available afterwards. You may not be able to see so much detail, but if we just think about it in three levels. At the bottom we've got the data collection, so this is taking data from your VLE, your library, from your student records, and then it's putting that data into storage and analysis, into the middle stage here. And then the top layer is the presentation and action. So I talked about student apps having an alert and intervention system, informing students that if you carry on doing this and if you don't visit the library this year, next year, students like you will fail. Probably not as blunt as that, but you can see where we're going with this. So at the core of this is the Learner Records Warehouse. And currently we have over 50 universities and colleges signed up who are looking to put their data into the Learning Records Warehouse. Finally, I just wanted to share with you a potential vision of how the use of analytics may evolve over time, moving through potentially where we're at now for some institutions where they're already exploiting the use of learning analytics, VLE, student records, as I said, so with the intention of improving retention and attainment, moving more towards institutional analytics, and that's incorporating buildings data, learning space data, location data, trying to move towards a more efficient campus. Then onto educational analytics, so taking the first two and then building in teaching quality data, assessment data, curriculum data, trying to improve the teaching and curricula, and then far down here, and who knows when we get to this point, the more cognitive analytics and AI. And that's where things really get exciting, so the whole personalised and adaptive learning. That is a vision. We're not there yet. As you can see, that we're on the left-hand side. This is where we aspire to be. Now, to support this work, we have set up a network group. In fact, the Learner Analytics Network meeting, the 12th meeting, is taking place at the University of Greenwich later this month. I think it's the 23rd of November. There's still opportunity for you guys to attend that if that is something you're interested in. The themes for that event is around data for learner analytics, so preparing your data sources, thinking about GDPR, and understanding the predictive modelling. So if you or any of your colleagues back at your institutions are keen to go that, then I would consider booking on to that event. Talking of events, the Learner Analytics meeting is just one of many that we provide for our members. I already mentioned up the road is the security conference. If we're looking at co-design, there's actually a co-design event coming up in London on the 23rd of November, an opportunity for those people in the institution to get involved in looking at the future technology products. So again, if you're interested in someone from your institution working more closely with Jisc to feed into the caterpillar that I showed you earlier, please come and see us. There is a GDPR conference on the 6th of December. That's in London as well. They're both free, by the way. Next year, in the spring, we've got DigiFest, and DigiFest is our major practitioner event, and that covers current and future educational technology environments. So really looking at the end users, the practitioners in the classroom, in the lecture rooms, how are they delivering? So there will be aspects of digital strategy, the student digital experience that we talk about, looking at next generation learning environments, but more importantly, teaching and learning excellence in a digital age. And then finally, the 46th network shop. They haven't been going for 46 years. Some years ago, they used to do a couple in a year. So these are events that are aimed at those managing network services and applications in your institution. So the 46th network shop will be down the road in Liverpool next year. I think the week before Easter. So I just want to give that a plug for you guys to go back and tell the folks in your institution, are you thinking about going along to some of these events? And I should say that the main difference with Network Shop, it's driven by the community, so the majority of the speakers there, it's not just speaking about just services, it's about the community talking about their experiences of using Express Route, for example, to Azure, and how that works for them and why they've chosen to go down that route.
So, in summary, we've talked about the ways in which Jisc works for and supports our members. We've discussed a range of products and services that are available to the Jisc community and what you can see coming soon. Now what's important is that you can access and engage with us and these services. So every member has access to their own dedicated account manager. Your account manager is your starting point to engaging with us and will provide information about all of the services we've mentioned today and many more that we haven't. Furthermore, what matters to us at Jisc is your feedback. Your account manager plays a crucial role in listening to your digital needs and feeding this back. And this helps us to shape Jisc both now and in the future. If you'd like further information about any of the services we've mentioned here today, please come and speak to myself or Keith, and we can put you in touch with your account manager. Alternatively, you can go to the Jisc website and use the Find Your Account Manager function. It's essential that you make the most of the Jisc services available to you, and we want to get more of our members using more of our services. So contact details for myself and Keith are listed here, and we'll certainly be around at the conference for the next couple of days. Yeah, we look forward to chatting to you and continuing any conversations that you might want to have with us. Thank you very much.
We've not really got time for any questions. Again, being the chair, I can just ask one. Who sets the agenda for Jisc and how do we get involved? Is it just through the account manager? How's that agenda set?
The discussions, sorry, the agenda for when we come to see you and what to talk about?
No, rather for which work you decide to do next.
A lot of it is decided, as I said, through the co-design process. And that's why it's really important when I'm asking if you're free to come to some of these events, it's really important that you do so because you've got a big say in it. But sometimes it's from our funders and the funders' requirements. So the RDSS, for example, there's a lot of policy and compliance there. So take Cyber Essentials, as Hazel's pointed out. If you want public funding now, you have to go through a Cyber Essentials accreditation, as some of you know. So we're there to support. We're from the sector, for the sector, and we're there to support all those things that you need to just make your lives easier.
And the only thing now between us and getting ready for some